Well, just when you think that you were begging for answers, when you thought that Phase 4 was so directionless, I was seeing some of you on Twitter. I was seeing some of you in the film Twitter land thinking it's kind of cool to bash Marvel now. Um, Saying Phase 4 is just like, where is it going? Well, Kevin Feige took the stage at Hall H like only he can, and he gave you some answers as to what the heck is going on here, folks. But guys, I'm so excited to be back on live with some of you. I see some of you in the chat live as we speak, and those of you watching the replay, thank you all so very much. We're gonna be dissecting a lot here on this lovely little show here tonight. We're just gonna kind of kick back. We're gonna kind of talk about what was discussed at Hall H and the humongous reveals about what we're in the midst of in the MCU, and it's super exciting. And it's gonna look to be super exciting over these next few years or so. But if anybody's new here, go ahead and smash the subscribe button, hit the notification bell right next to it if you want to stay up to date. Obviously, this is a channel where I love discussing all brand new things, movies and TV. I love going live with you guys sometimes, and I love talking all the geeky stuff like Marvel Studios. We're going to go ahead and get right into it. Luke, I see you in the chat, my buddy. Thank you so much for stopping by. Pop open a cold one if you guys have a drink in front of you. It's going to be a very exciting time to be a Marvel fan because holy crap, Kevin Feige takes the stage last night at San Diego Comic-Con, and I had a few friends in attendance for that. I had my buddy Leo and I had my buddy Dwayne in attendance there. I'm super jealous of them, and they got to see pretty much, all the big happenings over there. They pretty much got to see the DC panel. Nothing really new was talked about on that panel, except for Dwayne Johnson coming out in costume with an electrifying entrance, no pun intended, as Black Adam. There was the Shazam trailer released for the first time, and it looks like a fun time. Hopefully, Shazam: Fury of the Gods is better than the first one, which I honestly adore. I think it's one of DCEU's better films, but that's not the big crux of what we're talking about, folks. Obviously, the big reveal is that we are in the midst of the multiverse saga. And honestly, this is kind of been a long time coming. And I kind of figured this is what the next few phases of the MCU was all about, digging into the multiverse and what have you. The possibilities are wide open and they're endless. And we are going to be ending this saga. Phase 4, 5, and 6 are going to be wrapping it up. And it's going to be 2 Avengers films in 2025. That's right. 2 Avengers films in 1 year. That's fucking insane to me, my friends. It's going to be Avengers: The Kang Dynasty, and then we're going to wrap it up with Avengers: Secret Wars in November of 2025. That's going to be crazy. I'm sitting here and I honestly kind of assumed that Secret Wars was where this was all heading, just based on, the parallels of the comics. And it's going to be a super ambitious attempt by Marvel to pull that off. And according to Kevin Feige, the Russo brothers are not attached to either one of those Avengers films. It's going to be a whole new director. So the possibilities are wide open. Obviously, it's a few years away. A director has not been attached, but we will go ahead and delve into that as we progress with this stream here tonight. So the multiverse saga is consisting of, in case you missed it, in case you've been living under a rock, I had a really interesting day yesterday because I obviously get off the live stream I had yesterday. Thank you so much for joining me with Zack Milne and Ben James over here. That was a very fun spoiler review discussion. But with that said, it's basically, so the multiverse saga, phase 4 is what we're in right now. Obviously, that was what was announced at Hall H 2019. Then we're going into phase 5. We're wrapping it up with phase 6. We're going to get all into that. We're going to get into all kinds of speculation. And chat, if you're watching this live, if you're watching the replay, let me know down in the comments or in the chat box, whichever you prefer. What project are you most excited for? As we go through this, I'm going to be basically touting all the projects that I was geeking out so hard about. It's going to be a crazy few years. Like, I just can't believe that Kevin Feige just has done it again. He's a freaking genius, But phase 4, the big thing about phase 4, which obviously we just wrapped up with Thor: Love and Thunder and Ms. Marvel. She-Hulk will be premiering on August 17th on Disney Plus. And then, of course, we're going to be getting Black Panther Wakanda Forever on November 11th, I want to say, on Veterans Day. And that's it. That's it for phase 4. Then we're moving on right into phase 5 next year in 2023. Once that ball drops on New Year's Eve, it's a whole new ball game. Whole new ball game, my friends. Luke over here is saying that he's excited for She-Hulk Attorney at Law on Disney Plus, and I did see that trailer filled to the brim with so many cameos. Oh my freaking word. You have Charlie Cox coming back as Daredevil in that series, and then you also have Wilson Fisk / Kingpin. I mean, it's going to be insane. And Wong, how can I forget Wong? I mean, he's basically become the new, like, I don't want to say the new, like, James Rhodey to Stephen Strange's Iron Man, but it's kind of a similar connection there. Kind of seeing a lot of parallels, but they did release the final She-Hulk Attorney at Law trailer on the panel, and it was really, really fun. I had a lot of fun watching it. I think Milne said yesterday that She-Hulk may surprise a lot of people. I'm right there with him. I'm hopeful for She-Hulk Attorney at Law. I'm very, very excited to check it out. It's going to be 9 episodes on Disney Plus, 30 minutes apiece, just like WandaVision was. And we all know how much we all love WandaVision. So, I mean, She-Hulk could sneak in and surprise you guys. I don't know. I mean, it's going to be really, really cool to watch. And Tatiana Maslany, I think, is a great actress, a great choice. Lest I forget, Mark Ruffalo is returning as Bruce Banner in his iconic role. Not Edward Norton, obviously. We're going to get Abomination coming back, which will play into a huge announcement in regards to Phase 5 and one of those new films that Kevin Feige talked about. But yeah, I mean, She-Hulk looks good. And then they ended the panel. They bookended it. So She-Hulk was kind of what started off the panel to kind of get things off on the right foot to tell you guys, here's what's next. But then they bookended that with a small, brief panel for Black Panther Wakanda Forever, which is what's going to end Phase 4 for us. And that first trailer looked so damn emotional. Chadwick Boseman's death was something that really hit me hard a couple of years ago. And I honestly had no expectations for Wakanda Forever. I had no freaking idea what they were going to do. But with this trailer and with Winston Duke's words on that stage and just the passion that's been put into this project and the people he's surrounded with, it's going to be quite the emotional ride. And I'm expecting everybody to bring their Kleenex once Black Panther Wakanda Forever comes out in theaters on November 11th. Now, the trailer itself, they didn't reveal a whole lot. They talked a little bit about T'Challa and how he's no longer with us. But they didn't exactly go into too many details. We did see Namor, who's played by Tenoch Huerta, who had some great things to say on that stage. Super, super inspiring guy. And I'm very, very excited to see what Namor can do in this MCU, as it were. Technically, he's our first mutant. I know what the Ms. Marvel ending said, but Ms. Marvel in the comics is an Inhuman. So I guess they're kind of treading that fine line. They're kind of writing their own rules, I guess you can say, with Ms. Marvel, I guess, being a mutant in this context. Namor is the first true mutant that we're getting, aside from Scarlet Witch. I mean, lest we forget, Scarlet Witch is Magneto's daughter, after all. I got to say what's up to Nathan. What's up, Bad Dog Reviews in the chat. He said the Black Panther trailer was great. I agree, my guy. It looks so, so good. And Ryan Coogler as a director, I've been such a big believer in for so, so long. Correct me if I'm wrong. I believe he did Fruitvale Station, also starring Michael B. Jordan, which was a gut-wrenching film. And then he went and did the first Creed movie, which is one of my favorite movies in that entire Rocky franchise, too. Luke also hopes Wakanda Forever is good, but not that excited for it. The trailer was cool, but not that excited. I get it. I mean, it wasn't nearly as high on my list as Thor Love and Thunder was this year. I don't even think I'd put it above Multiverse of Madness. But this is, I mean, I think it's going to be solid. I think Ryan Coogler is going to surprise everybody here. I don't know if it'll be better than the first Black Panther, which honestly I think is kind of overrated in a lot of ways, but I think it's going to be good. It really, really does look like a really nice, well-made film, and it looks like a great tribute to such a sweet man in Chadwick Boseman and such a dedicated performer as well. I mean, if you haven't been seeing the posts on Twitter about just how like just how much he was willing to put into his craft. And there's a great quote in there. Someone said he was a tireless individual even when he was tired. And that just speaks volumes to his dedication to the craft. And I miss Chadwick Boseman all the time. I mean, such a gut-wrenching day when I found out. And then another thought that crept into my mind was like, holy crap, how are they going to do Black Panther 2? We're finally going to get answers in November once that movie finally comes out. And I'm sure it's going to make a boatload of money as well, just like that first Black Panther film did. But with that said, that's what's wrapping up Phase 4. I've also going to talk a little bit about the animated projects that were talked about. I believe it was on Friday. And these are pretty much all out in the open. We all already knew about these. There's nothing new that was released. You do have What If Season 2, which is starting off with Captain Carter once again, meeting up with the Winter Soldier, which should be an interesting little story there. The Captain Marvel episode, or not Captain Marvel, I keep mixing those two up. Captain Carter, Captain Carter, her episode in Season 1 of What If, the ultimate premiere, that was one of my favorite episodes last time. So hopefully they can make this one just as exciting. In Season 2 of What If, we'll also have a Tony Stark story on Sakaar. It'll also have a Hela narrative, Thor's sister. That should be a fun time. Elizabeth Olsen is coming back for an episode of What If, which should be a fun time. And I can only assume that Jeffrey Wright is reprising his role as the Watcher. That hasn't been confirmed, but I mean, I can just assume. I can assume that Jeffrey Wright is coming back. You also, of course, have Spider-Man Freshman Year, which doesn't really look like it's canon because you do have a small little scene in there between Peter and Norman in year 1 before he ever meets Tony Stark. That should be interesting. That should be interesting how it turns out. It is, mind you, this is the same exact logo for the Into the Spider-Verse films for Spider-Man. I don't know if that means anything. I don't know if Sony's going to get more hands-on with a bunch of these films. Unless we forget, there was no Spider-Man 4 film announced on this Hall H panel, but you can assume that there's going to be another Spider-Man film thrown somewhere in there. I don't know exactly where it's going to fit in yet, but we'll see what happens. Only time will tell. I'm sure Sony will announce that very, very soon. Got to say what's up to Derpy Gaming and Jeffrey Miller in the chat. Everybody's excited over here. Jeffrey watched the trailer over 12 times at least. That's awesome. That's awesome, man. I love that. Hopefully the movie is indicative. Hopefully the trailer is indicative of how good the movie actually is. We won't have answers until November, obviously, but should be awesome. Should be awesome. And again, in case you're wondering, definitely subscribe. If anybody cares, I have a certain link to Ant-Man 3 footage. Oh man. I mean, we're gonna talk about Ant-Man. We're gonna talk about Ant-Man. We'll see. We'll see. Talk offline. But yeah, follow me on Twitter. Subscribe to the channel. Absolutely. Leave this video a thumbs up. That would be wonderful. Lest we forget, I've talked about What If. I've talked about Spider-Man Freshman Year. You do have X-Men 97, which is kind of a revival there. That's kind of your first actual taste of the X-Men in the MCU, which is really, it's a big freaking deal, man. I remember when they announced that Disney acquired 20th Century Fox. Back in my mind, I was like, oh my God, this opens up so many freaking possibilities now. And I'm sure Kevin Feige has been wanting to tinker with mutants for years and years and years. And here he is finally being able to do it. Jeffrey Wright naturally has one of the most cinematic voices ever. He does. He's perfect for voice acting. I mean, I don't know how Disney has not. Has he been in an animated Disney movie yet or a Pixar movie? I mean, I'm not remembering off the top of my head. Feel free to correct me down in the chat if I am wrong, which I probably am. If he hasn't been called by Disney yet, I don't know how, but he should be. He should be, because that man was made for animated projects. But yeah, let's go ahead and get into it, my friends. Let's go ahead and get into the big announcements. Phase number 5. Look at that timeline right there. Isn't that pretty? It's exactly like their 2019 Hall H layout there. So we're just going to kind of go from left to right there. We're going to start off with Ant-Man and the Wasp Quantumania, which is a very, very important project in the grand scheme of things. Yes, they did get some footage from Comic-Con, as somebody in the comments was talking about. Um, and apparently, Kang the Conqueror looks freaking terrifying. And I can't freaking wait. And there is a poster that is around social media with Scott Lang and Hope Van Dyne in their suits, along with Cassie Lang, who's now played by Catherine Newton, who is at the panel, and she's wearing purple, along with Scott and Hope Van Dyne. But, I mean, the big story is Jonathan Majors. The first look at Jonathan Majors as Kang the Conqueror. And with the way this multiverse saga is laid out, he's definitely the big baddie. He absolutely is. And I can't wait to see what else he does with all these other projects here. I can't wait to see how these Avengers films come out with him in the main villain role. I mean, Ant-Man and the Wasp: Quantumania, it's going to be fun. Hopefully it's better than the second film that came out in 2018, which was honestly, it felt more like a distraction from the trauma that we received in Infinity War. It was kind of like your comedic cool down, I guess you can say. If it didn't come out around that point, it would probably be one of the more forgettable MCU films, but I think it was definitely the kind of the cool down that we needed. Hopefully Quantumania is better. I mean, with Kang's involvement, I mean, it should be there definitely should be some fireworks there. What's up, Ryan? Kevin Feige knows how to get us interested again. Absolutely. Absolutely. Kevin Feige just knows how to get us interested in general. I mean, there he is on stage. I mean, he's just a very charismatic, beautiful man indeed. Ant-Man and the Wasp: Quantumania hits theaters, of course, on February 17th of next year, 2023. It's going to be, I mean, it's probably going to be one of the big selling points of the box office next year, because there's a couple other movies that come out in 2023 that I don't think are going to be, nearly as financially successful. But hey, it's still a year away. It's still a year away. I'm not saying for sure, but we'll see. Jeff is excited for Ant-Man because of the villain or maybe villains. Yeah, I mean, it's definitely possible that Ghost could come back, because Ghost is a Thunderbolt in the comics. And it's going to be interesting to see how that team shapes out. It looks like we have most of that field already sorted out in this case, but we'll get to the Thunderbolts. I don't want to get too ahead of myself here. But Ant-Man and the Wasp, of course, February 17th. That's going to be tons of fun. Paul Rudd, of course, returning. You have Evangeline Lilly returning. Michael Douglas returning. I mean, it's your usual Ant-Man suspects, so should be fun. Peyton Reed is also returning to direct. That should be a good one. Secret Invasion hits Disney Plus in the spring of 2023, in what I can assume is the project directly after Quantumania. And this is the project where Samuel L. Jackson finally gets to be a main character in here, and I'm so stoked for him. You, of course, have casting news of Emilia Clarke and Olivia Colman coming in. Kobe Smulders was at the panel talking a little bit about this series. It's going to be interesting. It's really going to be interesting to see how Secret Invasion plays out. Kobe Smulders was describing this as one of the darker series that we've gotten, which is saying a lot, because especially after Loki season 1 wrapped up, that was a pretty dark finale. And Moon Knight in general, pretty dark show with pretty dark themes. So we'll see how that turns out. I'm definitely curious to see what Secret Invasion is all about. It's gonna be a series that literally keeps us guessing, because we never know who's who when we look at them. But the big one for me in Phase 5 is Guardians Volume 3. That is, just to kind of spoil another idea that I had, that's my most anticipated film of next year, bar none. The Guardians of the Galaxy are extremely special to me. I feel like I was a fan of the MCU casually through phases 1 and 2, but the Guardians were what was really the Kickstarter for me. Like, okay, I love this. It's so cool. And the first film that came out in 2014, I've talked about this many times. I was a senior in high school, and everybody was singing the soundtrack. Everybody was quoting the lines. Everybody was saying, "I am Groot," and all that nonsense. It's just a beautiful film. Volume 2 is very, very good. I dare I say it's pretty freaking underrated in the grand scheme of things. And Volume 3, you do have all of your usual suspects coming back. James Gunn, this is the end of an era, man. After the Guardians of the Galaxy holiday special, which was not mentioned at this panel, oddly enough, I think the holiday special is going to sneak in and be freaking awesome. But James Gunn comes on stage and his main cast comes on stage and everybody's emotional. And you can, like, the people who are there could probably tell you the cast loves each other dearly. And this is going to be the end of an era, man. It really is. It's going to be, I mean, if Black Panther Wakanda Forever is going to be emotional, but I feel like I'm going to be tearing up a lot more for Guardians because those are the characters that really got me into this in 2014. Like I said, I was more of a casual fan from the beginning with Iron Man and everything, but the Guardians were what kickstarted my fandom. And honestly, like my whole family loves the Guardians, so it's gonna be sad. Oh, thank you for reminding me, Nathan, about Marvel Zombies. I completely forgot about that. TVMA on this one. Yeah, that's indicative. That's indicative. There is one announcement that I wish was made on this panel that I'll get to at the end. I think they're saving that for D23. Some of you might already know what I'm referring to, for all I know. But TVMA, that is huge, absolutely huge for this studio. Luke's most anticipated project is one that I'll get to. Now that you're telling me that Secret Invasion is going to be dark, I'm now excited. Yep. Yeah, that's how Kobe Smulders was describing it. I'm quoting her. I'm just going off of what other people have said. Jeff has said, I'm excited for Secret Invasion. This is the Skrulls. Yes, absolutely. This is playing off of what Samuel L. Jackson was dealing with in Spider-Man Far From Home. He's kind of dealing with stuff off planet. And it's kind of playing directly into that. It's going to be fun. It's going to be a lot of fun. Luke's honorable mention is Guardians Volume 3. That's my most anticipated movie next year. I don't think anything else comes close. I mean, next year is loaded anyway. You have Indiana Jones 5. You have a couple other projects in this lineup that we'll get to. You have Quantum Mania. But Guardians is what beats all of them for me. Guardians is going to break Film Lover 134. I can't believe the end of the Guardians is coming. And James Gunn did say, even though it's the end of the team as a whole, that doesn't mean that all of them have to leave or be killed off or whatever. I still feel like we're going to be seeing a lot of the Guardians go out on their own and join some other teams in this universe and do some team ups. It'll be interesting. It'll definitely be interesting to see them in a different light. But in any case, yeah, I'll get to Daredevil. I'm so excited for that. But Guardians is, I mean, special, absolutely special to me, and it is a clean looking new logo too. I realized that the initial logo, if I can find it, kind of looks similar in color scheme to the original Volume 1 right here, just with some red tint under there for Volume 3. But they kind of switched it up a little bit here. Some people might be like, what the heck is that? That looks like blocky 80s text. And I mean, Star-Lord does have a Walkman, so it kind of fits for me. And I like it. Looks clean. Looks very, very clean. We also have to talk about Echo, which comes out on Disney Plus in the summer next year. I liked her arc in Hawkeye. It wasn't the most interesting part of the series for me. That distinction easily goes to Kate Bishop and her coming of age. But I think that the actress playing her, Alakwa Cox, did such a brilliant job. And Daredevil and Hawkeye, or not Hawkeye, Daredevil and Kingpin are both going to be in this series as well. So that should be a very interesting look at it. The next big film that comes out in that summer will be The Marvels. And we just talked about this a little bit. The post-credit sequence for the finale of Ms. Marvel actually plays right into this, where Iman Vellani is thrust into her bedroom closet and up pops Brie Larson. I don't know how they're going to explain that. I don't know if they switched bodies or like what the gimmick is there or what they're going to try and tell us. But I'm captivated. I'm definitely captivated to see those two back and teaming up. Iman Vellani, I'm sure, is super excited to be in such a big project like this, and I'm so happy for her. The one person I'm most excited and anticipated to see in the Marvels is Monica Rambeau. She was one of the most badass parts of WandaVision. I was so captivated by her character, and I can't wait to see what she does with a big budget film like this. And it should be a fun team up. Nia DaCosta is directing, which I think is much needed. I honestly, even though Captain Marvel and the retro nostalgia vibe of it being set in the 90s and everything, it was cool. I wasn't a big fan of the direction though. Brie Larson's performance, even like on a rewatch, is just kind of meh to me. So with Nia DaCosta coming in, of course, she directed the remake of Candyman last year. Hopefully, she brings some magic into this universe. And I love seeing a woman director in here as well. Chloe Zhao for Eternals, now Nia DaCosta for the Marvels. But here's the project that Luke was talking about in the chat. Ryan, I gotta say, Echo is probably my least anticipated. I didn't really care for her character in Hawkeye. I'm excited to see Charlie Cox and Vincent D'Onofrio return. Aren't we all? Aren't we all? And we're getting close to that point. I anticipate the Marvels will have better direction. I agree. I absolutely agree. There were some things in that first Captain Marvel film, like how some scenes were shot, like especially the action. Um, I was like, I wouldn't have done it that way. If I were sitting behind the camera, like that's not how I would have framed a lot of those shots. But in any case, Daredevil Born Again, I assume, is basically going to be a remake of Daredevil season 3 because since that was adapted from the Born Again arc as well. Let's hope it's TVMA. I don't want to get too ahead of myself here, pal, but I mean, I'm hoping it's TVMA as well. The Daredevil Netflix show is incredible. Hopefully Marvel Studios can replicate that magic here. Luke's most anticipated project of Phase 5 is Low-Key Season 2. And we all knew this was coming. We all knew this was coming from the post-credits tease after an insane finale with He Who Remains showing up, also played by Jonathan Majors, a variant of Kang the Conqueror. That's going to be absolutely insane. Michael Waldron is returning to write a bunch of the teleplays. He also had a hand in writing Doctor Strange 2. So I like Michael Waldron as a writer. I think he definitely knows how to capture like the creepy aura of certain parts of this universe or multiverse, if you will. We're currently in the Marvel Cinematic Multiverse at this time, which I think is really awesome. Multiverse Saga is such a great name. But Low-Key Season 2, Tom Hiddleston, Owen Wilson, all returning. It's going to be a lot of fun. But here's the big one. Here's the big one that I wasn't expecting. Blade. This is the big surprise reveal from the end of 2019's Hall H panel with Mahershala Ali coming out, putting on the Blade hat and everything. Such an iconic Hall H moment. But now that's been given a release date, November 5th of 2023. This is interesting. This is an interesting development. I did not think that we were going to be getting the Blade movie this soon. But honestly, with his cameo voice appearance in the post-credits for Eternals, this makes all the sense in the world. Now, I believe a director is attached, and I was having a big discussion with a few of you on Twitter because I feel like I was fed false information, but I read somewhere that Mahershala Ali stepped away from the project. I don't know why he would, because he is honestly the perfect choice to play Blade. I know he was in the Luke Cage show and everything like that, and that's all well and good, but Mahershala Ali, like Academy Award winning actor, like that's a perfect casting choice if I ever saw one. And I think he's going to be such a badass as the vampire hunter. And that does start filming, according to Lord Feige, this October. So look out for a Blade trailer some point within the next year. I am so excited to see what Marvel Studios does with that. Getting a release date for that film is huge. It's a huge reveal. And there's another big release date that we'll get into that I'm just ecstatic over. Ryan said Low-Key Season 2 is going to be bonkers. Still my favorite of the shows. Yep, me too. Just everything about that show. I mean, just from Low-Key's character development and his character study and Owen Wilson's performance and Jonathan Majors showing up at the end. It's just such a great story. And Sylvie as well. Sylvie is such a great character. I hope we see more of her in season 2. And honestly, I mean, I hope we get some more Loki variants because Alligator Loki deserves his own series of Marvel shorts. I know we all love Baby Groot, and I know he's that's the Marvel Studios meat right there. Is I Am Groot shorts. If anybody deserves shorts right now, though, it's Alligator Loki for me. But yeah, absolutely going to be bonkers. Blade is going to be bonkers. I have a question for you in the chat. Does anybody here think that Blade is going to be rated R? Because honestly, I think that would be a huge, huge thing. If they got Blade rated R, like, that gives me all the confidence in the world that they could pull off Deadpool 3. It really, really does. Even though Blade is a completely different character than Deadpool, he doesn't have the raunch, but with the violence and everything like that, with, Blade himself just slicing and dicing various vampires, like, you got to make that rated R. You have to. I believe Wesley Snipes' ones were rated R. Let me look real quick. Oh, yeah, totally rated R. All three of these. Blade Trinity is not rated on my copy, though. But we'll see. We'll see how it goes. Blade is going to be very fun. You also have Ironheart premiering on Disney Plus. I'm seeing there. The next three are all Disney Plus shows. Ironheart is a big one for sure. That's one that's been teased for years and years and years. Rai Williams is debuting in Black Panther: Wakanda Forever. Here she is reprising her role in her own show. It'll be interesting to see. And I believe, correct me if I'm wrong, I believe Don Cheadle is coming back to reprise his role in Ironheart. I know he's coming back in Secret Invasion too, but Ironheart, I mean, it would make all the sense in the world for Don Cheadle to be there. Secret, what's up, Spoder? Thank you so much for stopping by. I appreciate it. Secret Wars is going to shatter the world. Yeah, it absolutely is. I mean, the possibilities with Secret Wars are absolutely endless, except for perhaps including Tony Stark and Steve Rogers. That's probably the only thing that, like, I doubt that Robert Downey Jr. and Chris Evans want to come back. Highly doubt it. But you never know. You never know. Marvel Studios might pull a rabbit out of the hat, and they might come out with guns a-blazing for one final fight against Kang. But I don't know. I have absolutely no idea. Completely off topic from Marvel, but are you going to start binging Stranger Things since the final season is confirmed for 2024? Yes. Yes, I will. And you know what? I'm actually going to be reviewing all of the Stranger Things, so look out for a playlist of that. Kind of off topic as well, but I will be finishing Game of Thrones before House of the Dragon premieres next month. So look out for reviews of those as well, season 7 and 8. Didn't want to do it, but here we are. I mean, I could have just ended with Battle of the Bastards, and I feel like I would have been just fine because that episode damn near perfect. And Ryan and I have had this discussion for sure. Luke has an interesting question that I'd like to ask all of you as well. What character are you most interested seeing in the MCU going forward? For me, it would be Moon Knight. Moon Knight is a good one. Oscar Isaac is so fucking brilliant in the role. But in terms of right now, my favorite character in the MCU is Thor. I just feel like what he's learned and what he's seen and what he's been through and, how the character has evolved, it's freaking brilliant. And if Chris Hemsworth wants to keep continuing playing Thor through Phase 6 and beyond, I'm all for that. I'm absolutely all for that. I'm down. Nathan says, I believe I heard Feige say that Blade would still be PG-13 as he considers Deadpool the only R-rated MCU property. That's good. Yeah, that's fine. I can respect that. As long as Deadpool is rated R, I am fine with him doing whatever the hell he wants with everything else. You don't touch Deadpool's raunch. You absolutely don't. X-Men Origins should have taught you that lesson. Pretty sure Don Cheadle is also in Armor Wars. Yeah, that's his series, Spoder. It absolutely is. You're right. Ryan, there's a lot of love for the Batman and the boys in the chat here. What did you think of Ethan Hawke in Moon Knight? I liked his performance. I really did. I don't think we're going to be seeing him again, obviously. But it was good to get him in this universe, at least for a little bit. But yeah, so we were talking about Blade, right? Yeah. So if that's PG-13, I'm cool with it. Ironheart, we already talked about that a little bit. This is interesting. Agatha, House of Harkness is no more, and now it's Coven of Chaos. I don't know why they changed the name. I really don't. But it'll be, Agatha Harkness, played by Kathryn Hahn, of course, and she'll be returning in this Disney Plus series. which comes out winter of 2023 going into 2024. She is so much fun. She was such a great presence in WandaVision. I really enjoyed it. And this series, honestly, I don't have a whole lot of like anticipation for, mainly because the Scarlet Witch is out of the picture. And I know it wasn't announced, but I know it's been heavily rumored that Elizabeth Olsen is finally getting her solo film that she so well deserves after everything she's done since the post-pandemic era, since WandaVision came out. Her performance in Multiverse of Madness being a top 5 performance in this entire fucking saga. Like, she deserves her own film. Absolutely does. So it's interesting to see Agatha getting her own series before Wanda gets her own film. But it'll be fun. I mean, it'll be fun. I mean, if it was Agatha all along, I'll probably enjoy it even more. Spoder says, of course, definitely Spider-Man without my profile pic bias. Yeah, and this is honestly, all these announcements are super exciting. And Spoder, I said this at the beginning of the stream. This is not even taking into account that we're probably going to be getting another Spider-Man film in the midst of all this. And Sony does not allow Kevin Feige to announce it on his own. He needs Sony Studios basically there. We didn't know about No Way Home until, like, what was it? Like a year before its release? Like, not even a year. It was like 9 months when Tom Holland revealed the title. But we'll see what happens. We will see what happens with Spider-Man in this multiverse of madness as we continue. And there's a huge rumor that's been floating around that I want to get into once we get into the Avengers movies a little more. But holy crap, guys. So after Agatha Coven of Chaos, here's Daredevil Born Again. 18 episodes long, which is freaking insane. Absolutely love that Daredevil is getting the treatment he deserves from the MCU. Love that Charlie Cox is coming back because it's such a great show. And I love that Vincent D'Onofrio is coming back. Now, I know a lot of you are worried that this might just be a rehash of season 3 since they already sort of did the Born Again storyline from the comics. I don't know. I don't know if Kevin Feige is, that oblivious to that fact. I'm sure Daredevil Born Again is going to have some different elements to it from the Netflix show. But it's going to be really, really freaking captivating to watch. And I can't freaking wait. I remember sitting in the theater opening night of No Way Home, and just in general, my buddy Cisco of the Spoken Misc podcast, shout out to him if he's watching the replay. He had to calm me down so many times during the No Way Home screening. And the big one was when Charlie Cox appeared as Daredevil here. And I was sitting there in my seat. It was kind of silent. There were some people in the theater who didn't exactly know who he was. There was a little reaction. It goes quiet. And then I'm just like, no way. And then he was like, shh, quiet. Yeah. Obviously, I'm not normally like that in theaters all the time. It's like, if it's a theater full of fans, all that goes out the window. I just react like a little fanboy would. But in any other case, I am quiet and I'm respectful to the film, and I try and give it as much of my attention as I can so I can get an accurate review out for you guys. That's just what I do here. But when Daredevil showed up, I just couldn't help myself. And now that he's getting his own series, 18 episodes long, so it's probably going to be going through the next 2 movies that we're going to be talking about. Maybe, I mean, it'll probably be like, I don't know how to put this. So the finale, if it's 18 episodes, it'll premiere. It'll probably be going for a good 4 months. So yeah, no, it could go through the next 2 films. So Daredevil's going to be a humongous project for Marvel. Can't freaking wait to see what Feige has up his sleeve for that. But the final 2 movies in Phase 5, this is what's interesting. The trademarks were starting to circulate all over Twitter, so this didn't exactly surprise me all that much. Anthony Mackie is coming back as Sam Wilson / Captain America in his own movie, Captain America: New World Order. Now, I know what you're thinking. If you're wrestling fans, you're going to be making so many NWO jokes all the time for life and all that nonsense. This is no joke. I mean, there's no wrestling included in this. I mean, there's fighting, but no Hulk Hogan, even though he's a real American. No Scott Hall, may he rest in peace. No Kevin Nash. No X-Pac. This is all This is all freaking Anthony Mackie. And I am so happy for the man because he did so well in The Falcon and the Winter Soldier. Yes, it's not my favorite Disney Plus series, but like the whole arc and the whole character study and the politics that they were getting into, that's what makes Captain America for me, is that they elevate these political discussions in the realm of just comic book science fiction storytelling. Um and I cannot freaking wait for New World Order. I think it's gonna be a big freaking deal having having Sam Wilson as Captain America. I'm hopefully this rakes in all the box office money it can. Um, I don't know what kind of storyline there is. I mean, granted, it's coming out May 3rd of 2024, so we have so long to speculate. This is the big summer hit for Marvel that year. Um, Captain America: New World Order, May 3rd, 2024. No director was attached to it. As far as I'm aware, there's no director, but I'm assuming that the same team behind the Disney Plus series will probably also be behind the film. Heck, who knows? The Russo brothers might come in and direct New World Order for all I know. It could be pretty fun. Spoder, curious to see where the hell Deadpool ends up in all this since he's on the Thunderbolts. Heck, that might be. Do you want to just go ahead and get into that? I mean, Thunderbolts, that was a big reveal. July, like end of July 2024. That's a big one. That is absolutely a big one. You could kind of see the formations and the gears starting to turn in regards to actually putting the team together and all that stuff. But they're actually giving them a Suicide Squad style film. And I can't wait to watch it. I can't wait to see Julia Louis-Dreyfus come back and be like the chaotic, evil Nick Fury and all that stuff. Can't wait to see Jelena Belova come back and join the team. John Walker should be in this. Wyatt Russell. I mean, you could speculate. I mean, I talked about Ghost a little bit earlier. I mean, that's a little bit more unlikely. You also have Baron Zemo, Daniel Bruhl probably coming in for this project. It's going to be a fun time. It's going to be a really, really fun time. And Spoder made a really interesting point. Bad Dog, it's going to be strange if they introduce the Deadpool character into the wider MCU. Comedy would feel totally off. Unless they were cameos. I mean, that's the only rated R MCU product. Kevin Feige's not going to touch the raunch. He's going to let Ryan Reynolds do what he wants. But Spoder did make an interesting point because Deadpool is a Thunderbolt in some of these comics. So maybe he pops up in a post-credit sequence. I don't know where Wade Wilson fits into all this. But I am so in for the ride. They did not announce Deadpool 3 in any of this panel at all, which shocked me because honestly, like with Mahershala Ali coming out to promote Blade at the end of the 2019 Hall H, I was assuming that Marvel might have another trick up their sleeve to kind of get the fans excited. As if all this wasn't exciting them. But just a small little tease like that. Maybe Ryan Reynolds comes out in costume. And oh my God, okay. I know I'm backtracking. I completely forgot to mention the villain of Guardians Volume 3 actually did come out in costume at Comic-Con. Chukwudi Iwuji from the Peacemaker series on HBO Max. Such a brilliant actor. And he looks at the crowd. He's like, I can't wait to dissect all of you. The High Evolutionary is the villain in Guardians Volume 3, which is such a weird surprise. I assumed so much. I just deep down, to me, it was going to be Adam Warlock as the villain. Will Poulter is cast in Guardians Volume 3, but Adam Warlock doesn't appear to be the villain, and I don't know how he figures into all this. So it'll be interesting to see. I know I sound like a broken record, but this is all really captivating stuff here. Phase 5, 12 big projects. 6 films, 6 series. It's going to be a freaking blast over these next couple of years going through Phase 5 with all of you. And I hope you guys are excited and ready for this fun ride that we're going to be going through. But we're not done yet. We are not done yet, my friends, because Kevin Feige had a few more tricks up his sleeve. He wanted to talk a little bit about Phase 6. And the first big one, which brought a huge smile to my face, was the Fantastic Four movie was finally given a release date, November 8th, 2024. And that's what is kicking off Phase 6 of the MCU, which is intriguing to me. because I would have assumed that Reed Richards would have been super important in this whole Kang the Conqueror story arc, because in the comics, Kang the Conqueror is the uncle of Reed Richards. So we'll see how they figure into all this with the Avengers movies coming out right after this, literally right after Fantastic Four. You get 2 Avengers movies in 2025. So us Marvel geeks are getting freaking spoiled. Now, this is what kind of disappointed me about all this, and they might be saving this for D23. I'll be sure to do another live stream once more announcements are made at D23, but there was no cast announcement for Fantastic Four at Comic-Con, and that was a little bit disheartening. And I famously said on Twitter, names, give me the wretched names, because I'm so tired of this speculation. I just want to know who the Fantastic Four is, and if I can, trust them to give me a good film, because that's all I ever want out of life anymore. I just want a good freaking Fantastic Four movie just for once. I've lived through 3 shitty ones. So can I at least have one good Fantastic Four film? Can I just have a director who knows what they're doing? Like, put Peyton Reed on this. Peyton Reed has famously said that he would love to do the Fantastic Four. John Watts, the Spider-Man original, not the original, the Home trilogy. John Watts was attached to direct Fantastic Four initially, but he had to step away from the project because he just said he needed a break. He needed a break from the comic book realm, and that's fine. I respect that. As an artist, I mean, you want to go and do different stuff? Bravo. Absolutely. So you got to get someone trustworthy to do Fantastic Four. My pick is Peyton Reed. Let me know if you have any director picks down in the chat. If you're watching the replay, go ahead and leave your director picks. Also, leave your fan casting for Fantastic Four. Is it going to be John Krasinski? Because I've been hearing that John Krasinski was not their first choice, which floored me. Absolutely floored me. So here's a story for you guys. I'm watching Multiverse of Madness. That was another thing that really, the person I was watching it with at the time had to calm me down, because I was so fucking pumped to see John Krasinski in that film as Reed Richards. And he knocked it out of the park. Him and Benedict Cumberbatch just like trading jabs with one another. Like, Reed Richards and Stephen Strange need to be intellectual soulmates from this point forward. They have to be like tied together at the hip. The Illuminati needs to be a humongous thing going past the multiverse saga. John Krasinski, I think, would be my choice. But from what I'm hearing, there's also been rumblings of Daniel Craig filling that role. There's been rumblings of Penn Badgley from the Netflix You series filling that role, which is interesting because it's a much younger Reed Richards than I would have expected. Like, almost like a Miles Teller level Reed Richards age. But we'll see. We shall see. I'm pulling for John Krasinski. Like, if it's John Krasinski, it's got to be Emily Blunt as the Invisible Woman, right? It has to be. I know she's trashed superhero movies and interviews and whatnot, but only time will tell, guys. Only time will tell. Spoder would love Zachary Montgomery as the Human Torch. Yes, he's my first choice as well. And that's another thing. The Human Torch and Spider-Man need to be very close to the same age. Because in the comics, I've said this many times, the Human Torch and Spider-Man are homeboys. They are tight at the hip. They trade jabs with each other all the time. They give each other shit. So they need to be close to the same age. Tom Holland is what, 26? So Human Torch has got to be close to that age range, if not a little bit older. Like, I know he's in trouble, but like, if he wasn't in trouble, Ansel Elgort would probably be the go-to for the MCU, but it's probably not going to be him with the stuff he's dealing with. So Zachary Montgomery would definitely be my first choice. Let me know if you guys have any other options down in the chat. The thing will be interesting to cast as well. I'm thinking Joel Edgerton, if they want to get like another Oscar-worthy actor under their umbrella. That's a way to do it, is the thing, and Ben Grimm. But the big ones, of course, were Avengers: The Kang Dynasty, which comes out in May of 2025, closely followed behind 6 months later by Avengers: Secret Wars in November of 2025. My buddy Ryan from the Suit Up Geeks podcast, when he saw this, he literally like fell right out of his seat, figuratively speaking. he was so damn excited. And I'm right there with him. I'm right there with him. Um, it's crazy to me that Feige is giving us two Avengers movies in the same calendar year. It's never happened before. I mean, he's given us two Avengers movies with like within a year of one another in Infinity War and Endgame, of course, which are among the top 5 MCU projects still to this very day. And at this point, with all these new projects that are coming out, with the quality that we've been getting in Phase 4, I mean, this could be a top 10 MCU movies now. It could be a top 15 MCU list that we're making. There's just so much goodness coming out of this universe and this multiverse and beyond. But Feige has gone on record to state that from now on, every saga will end with 2 Avengers movies. From now on, every saga will end with 2 Avengers movies. So that means that he's got ideas past the multiverse saga, and it's just freaking insane to me. It is insane to me, the thoughts that go through that man's head and the goodness that he continues to give us here. Avengers the Kang Dynasty, that probably will be the one where you get the big cliffhanger. Maybe Kang ends up winning the battle, and then Secret Wars will wind up being the big, fireworks finale, the big catharsis, rather. It's just interesting because the Infinity Saga lasted 11 years, and this multiverse saga is only going 6. It's just crazy to me just thinking about that, how entertainment has evolved. Because now, so Marvel, when the MCU first started, they only could rely on the theaters. They could only rely on their films. Now they're making television. Now they're getting Daredevil into the mix. Now they're giving Agatha Harkness her own series. They're putting the Thunderbolts together within this whole mess. They give you a Secret Invasion series. You have Spider-Man movies that are coming out. It's going to be a crazy, crazy ride to get to Secret Wars. And honestly, I don't want to say I called it. I somewhat assumed that Secret Wars was where all this multiverse nonsense was heading. And indeed, that turns out to be the case. Avengers Secret Wars, November of 2025. And honestly, I've said it before and I'll say it again. The possibilities are endless for Secret Wars. Kevin Feige could pull so many rabbits out of the hat for that one. He could pull out all the big guns, and it's going to be so much fun to watch. And honestly, Secret Wars has the potential to, I mean, it's easily going to break $1 billion at the box office. Both Avengers movies will. Absolutely. I think like a lot of the projects that we've talked about here tonight have the potential to break $1 billion at the box office. Hopefully they can. Thor: Love and Thunder is not nearly making as much of the box office as they would have wanted, which is insane to me because I love Love and Thunder. I think it's great. I know a lot of people in the chat probably watching in the replay don't think so, but Love and Thunder is great. I don't care what you say, gang. It's going to be good. It's good. Spoder, honestly, Kang is going to be better than Thanos. Wow. Oh, that's a bold statement. Jonathan Majors is an outstanding actor. I agree. He fits the role very well. Is his story going to be as captivating as Thanos was, though? Because when you first see Thanos in the post credits of what was it? I think it was the first Avengers movie when he appeared in the post credits, right? Or was it Age of Ultron? I could be wrong. Either way, Josh Brolin was great. I mean, you just see this big purple guy, and you're like, okay, this is the big baddie. I mean, you're not really going to get a whole lot out of him, but the development that you get from Thanos just in Infinity War by itself, he was the strongest part of that film. And he's a big reason why that's my favorite Marvel movie so far. It's literally Marvel's equivalent to The Empire Strikes Back, Infinity War. Awesome. Awesome film. Absolutely love it. Will the Kang Dynasty and Secret Wars be better? Honestly, I don't think it's realistic to have those expectations of whether you think these movies will be better than other ones in another saga. I'm just going to go in and freaking enjoy all of it as the geek that I am. The multiverse saga is going to be insane depending on where they're going with it. It's already been insane, man. And I know there's a lot of people out there in Twitter land who are complaining that, Feige wasn't giving them answers of where this whole saga was going, where Phase 4 was going. Well, now you got answers, my friends. And I'll admit, I was just kind of going into all these movies like, okay, I'm going to enjoy all of these. Because keeping in mind, you didn't exactly know where phase one was heading, or even phase two, phase three. You didn't really get a whole glimpse of what that first saga was all about, really, until the Tesseract was introduced in the first Avengers movie. You had to go through a few years before you kind of saw, okay, this is somewhat the direction that they're going. Um, so I wasn't someone who necessarily needed all the answers right away as to where the multiverse saga was going, or even if there was another saga. Um, but I think with Feige in control and with the right directors, with the right writers, with the right actors, you're going to get some quality stuff out of here. And Phase 4 has certainly given you a lot of quality. I mean, we've already talked about Loki Season 1 being probably their best show they put out there. Moon Knight is very much up there as well. I know a lot of people on here love WandaVision. They think that's their favorite, but I think that has a little bit of an advantage over the other shows because that was the first Marvel projects that we got since the pandemic started. And we were just all hungry for new Marvel content. So I feel like that's what gives WandaVision somewhat of an edge over a lot of the other projects that we're getting. But Ryan says hopefully they don't rush all these projects. And that's been a big concern for a lot of people. And I acknowledge that. With how much I'm excited for most of these projects, it's a lot of stuff coming out, little bit of MCU fatigue. Do you guys think that that's why people are hating on the MCU is just like too much? Because if you look at the comics are even more vast of a universe, and there's so many different stories out there. So many different stories that the MCU films can adapt. So I feel like that's what Feige's vision is. He wants to make this as vast as the comics have been. And he's certainly on the right track to do that with the multiverse and everything. 2 Avengers movies. Again, that's freaking insane. Yeah, I agree, Ryan. 2 Avengers movies in the same year. It's both gonna break $1 billion, maybe even $2 billion. Screw your Avatar, It's just, I don't know, man. I mean, I'm too damn excited for everything that's going on. Secret Wars is going to be such an explosive finale to the multiverse saga. Couldn't agree more, man. And the multiverse saga looks extremely exciting. You have so many projects that were announced. The only thing that I wish was announced during this panel was an acknowledgement that Deadpool was going to come in. I was fully expecting with all these, like the High Evolutionary coming out in costume and Dwayne Johnson, even in the Black Adam costume in a totally different panel. I was fully on board with Ryan Reynolds coming out in the Deadpool garb and throwing out some jokes. But I think they're going to save that for D23, middle of September. Hopefully that's announced soon because I'm antsy to see where Deadpool fits into all this. And I also kind of wish that we got some semblance of casting news for the Fantastic Four. We didn't get anything like that. We didn't get any clues as to who it was going to be. John Krasinski did not show up. I'm assuming they're saving that casting announcement for D23. I'm sure Feige is still working very hard at that. But I'm hoping we get it soon, man, because I want to make sure that I trust the actors that they put in there. Jack Infinity, good to see you, my friend. If you can see one of the upcoming MCU movies tomorrow, which one would it be? God, you're stumping me. I want to say Fantastic Four, but I want to make sure that they put in the time to make that a good movie. So I'm going to go ahead and say Guardians of the Galaxy Volume 3. If I could see that movie tomorrow, I would be absolutely... I'll probably be in tears by the end of it, and I'll probably regret that choice. But I think it's going to be freaking awesome. I think James Gunn's farewell to the MCU, if you will, it's just going to be so emotionally heartbreaking. Rocket Raccoon is one of my favorite characters in the whole universe. So, yeah, I don't think I'm ready for the emotional breakdown I'm going to have. I was fully expecting Ryan to come out too in his Deadpool outfit. Yeah, right? Similar to how Mahershala Ali came out with the Blade hat and everything like that. Good, you're excited for Guardians Volume 3. It's going to emotionally break me in a good way. Ain't that the truth? Spoder says either Blade or Guardians 2020 or Guardians 2023. That's sort of what it is. Guardians Volume 3 is what I was going for. Yeah, I'm hopeful for Blade. If it's not rated R, that might knock it down a few points for me, but I'm not expecting it to be rated R, but if it is, that's going to be a very welcome surprise. Um, Honestly, screw it. I'll say I want to see Fantastic Four. I just want to see a good Fantastic Four movie for once in my life. That's all I've ever wanted, is a good Fantastic Four film. And like I said, I've lived through 3 shitty ones. I don't care what you say about the Silver Surfer and all that stuff. The Rise of the Silver Surfer, Michael Chiklis as the Thing. Like, come on. So bad. I hope they don't save Deadpool for Phase 6. Really, they can sneak Deadpool in Phase 5. Oh, Phase 5 looks really crowded though, dude. With 12 projects, I'm thinking they squeeze in Deadpool before these Avengers movies. Or even then, maybe they squeeze in Deadpool in between Kang Dynasty and Secret Wars. Kind of similar to how they did with Ant-Man and the Wasp as kind of your palate cleanser. But I don't want Deadpool 3 to be a palate cleanser at all. If anything, I think Deadpool 3 is probably going to come out after Secret Wars. I think that might be a Christmas movie, dude. Similar to how No Way Home was a Christmas movie, takes place during Christmas. Um, so let's see, what else am I missing? Like I said, fourth time is the charm for Fantastic Four. Absolutely. Black Panther Wakanda Forever is going to be a sad entry. Based on the trailer alone, I'm already sold. Yeah, we were talking about that, Ryan. It's going to emotionally break a lot of people. I think it's certainly going to be making a boatload of cash at the box office. Man, I miss Chadwick Boseman. I don't know how they're going to do it. And here's my thing. That trailer, that was a good trailer because they didn't show you too much. They showed you just a teensy bit of Namor. They showed you a teensy bit of the Atlanteans. And they showed you the back of the new Black Panther, but they didn't reveal who the new Black Panther was. I think they're going to keep that a surprise. They should keep that a surprise until the film comes out, if I'm being honest. Have you watched the Avengers Earth's Mightiest Heroes? I haven't. I need to check that out then. The fact that Sean Levy is coming in to direct Deadpool 3, yeah. Him and Ryan Reynolds work really well together. I love Free Guy. I thought Adam Project was good. Could have been better. A lot of the production value certainly felt like Guardians carbon copies almost, but I'm definitely curious to see what he can do with Deadpool 3, especially with the raunchy style of comedy that it has. Because Free Guy, I haven't really seen Free Guy in a while. I don't really think it had that much raunchy comedy in there. Night at the Museum certainly did not have any raunchy comedy in there, surely. So the fact that Sean Levy's coming in to do a rated R film with Ryan Reynolds, who's a frequent collaborator, it's going to be a fun time. It's going to be a really fun time. Hopefully that's revealed at D23. Hopefully they reveal a cast for Fantastic Four at D23. But from what we got, 12 projects from Phase 5. Phase 4 is wrapping up at the end of this year with Black Panther Wakanda Forever on November 11th. It's going to be a fun ride, my friends. If you guys want to join the party, smash that subscribe button, hit that thumbs up as well. That would be insanely helpful. Thank you so much for joining the stream. As always, this is always such a blast just to hang loose and just talk about some geeky stuff with you guys. As far as what you can expect from me, what's next? Basically, just kind of keeping up with the new releases. I'm going to be seeing Bullet Train in a couple weeks. That should be a lot of fun. I'm going to be finishing up the Lord of the Rings original trilogy with Return of the King. I'll be reviewing that very soon. I'm also going to start my reviews for the Hobbit trilogy in the build-up to Rings of Power. As I've mentioned, I did say that I was going to review season 7 and 8 of Game of Thrones. A lot of stuff to talk about, my friends. And I feel like, you know what? Just for you guys, I'm going to go ahead and announce this right now. So after I finish the Lord of the Rings series, I'm going to need a new retro, right? Of course, you have the Halloween special. That's going to be taking up all the month of October. So if you have any requests for scary movies, follow me on Twitter. Hit me up in my DMs with any requests. Feel free to throw those requests in the comments. Throw those requests in the timeline. I would love to hear what you guys, want me to talk about. Because I want to give you guys what you want. But after that, you guys know that Creed 3 is coming out in November, right? Yeah. So this November, very excited to say this, but I will be reviewing every single Rocky movie in the build up to Creed 3. That includes Creed 1 and 2. And I cannot wait to bring that stuff to you guys. A lot of fun topics that we're going to be discussing over here. So you definitely don't want to miss a second of the action. Hit that subscribe button, hit that notification bell, hit that thumbs up. It's going to be awesome. Spoder wants me to review the Evil Dead trilogy. Anybody in? Because I'm in. I'm in for that, Spoder. Are you gonna review Where the Crawdads Sing? Honestly, I don't know, man. I mean, I'm gonna be like filling in the gaps like relentlessly. Um, I know a lot of you have been requesting that I talk about Paws of Fury, the Kung Fu Panda direct to DVD ripoff. You don't want me to talk about that, but I might. I might just for you guys, just because I love you all, just because you're all beautiful people. I'm gonna put my sanity on the line with that one. Jack is asking, how excited are you for Low-Key season 2? Very excited, especially after the first Low-Key season was as incredible as it was. Low-Key season 2 is going to be even better. I feel. Hopefully, could we see Hugh Jackman in Phase 6? I think he's going to stick to his word, man. I think Hugh Jackman is done. I think they're going to bring in a brand new Wolverine, brand new actor. And here's some food for thought. How about Taron Egerton for Wolverine? Feel free to let me know who you want to see play Wolverine down in the chat as well, down in the comments if you're watching the replay. Taron Egerton, him and Hugh Jackman are good friends in real life too. So it just feels like a perfect connection. It feels like the stars align there. So he's my choice. And Taron Egerton is 5'8" as well. Wolverine is supposed to be a smaller guy. I mean, he's bulky. He has the muscles and everything like that. He can kick your ass, but he's supposed to be on the short side. And Taron Egerton, 5'8". I think he's the perfect build for it. I think he can play the part. So in any case, folks, enough of me fantasizing about that, folks. Anthony Starr as Sabretooth. Yeah, that'd be fun. Guys, it's been a pleasure. Thank you all so very much for joining me on this so fun. I mean, I can't thank you guys enough. It's honestly such a blast to be able to put on these live streams, to be able to chat with you guys for a little bit. It's so fun making these videos. I don't see any reason to stop anytime soon. I know I'm starting to get busy with like shows and everything like that on the side. But you guys have made this all happen. You guys have grown this community to such a brilliant degree. Let's continue to grow this. Let's see how quick we can get to 2,000 subscribers as well. Tell your friends. Share this channel with your friends. If they want a new fun channel to talk all new things, movies and entertainment, this is the place to be for sure. But y'all, thank you all so very much again. See you guys for the next one. Take care.